week, the New York Times dropped a bombshell op-ed. If you haven't heard about it by now, then you're probably living on Mars. Someone identified only as a senior Trump administration official writing, "I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration." The mystery writer goes on to say, "It may be cold comfort in this chaotic era, but Americans should know that there are adults in the room. We fully recognize what's happening, and we are trying to do what's right, even when Donald Trump won't." Now, of course, there are many different opinions about this editorial. President Trump called it treason, while some Democratic lawmakers say it's just further evidence that the president is unfit for office. But believe it or not, people on both sides actually do have one thing in common. They want the author of that op-ed to step forward, to out themselves, to say those things about the president with their name and their reputation attached. Now, the two sides do have different motives for wanting the author to come forward. The president's supporters want to know for obvious reasons. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said of the editorial, "This coward should do the right thing and resign." On the other side, opponents of the president think the editorial would be more damaging if we knew who wrote it. Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal of Washington said, "If this truly is the state of the White House, it's in the best interest of the American people for the author and other like-minded individuals to declare themselves publicly, resign, and refuse to allow this president and his lies to continue." And there are also people on both sides who blame the New York Times for even allowing that official to make such serious claims about the president with complete anonymity. For myself and my colleagues in the press, anonymous sources are sometimes necessary. They just are. We often use them to protect someone's livelihood or, in the most extreme cases, to protect their lives. But that decision should never be made lightly. The New York Times says it took this extraordinary measure because it believed this was the only way to deliver an important perspective to its readers. But the Times ran into a few problems. First, there's been more talk about who wrote the editorial than what it actually says. The media has devolved into a full-on guessing game. And second, and most importantly, anonymous sources are easier to cast doubt on and dismiss. After all, why should you blindly trust someone whose name you don't even know? It's much easier to call an anonymous source a liar than to say the same to their face. Yes, the content of that editorial is stunning. But does it really matter if you give people an excuse not to believe it?
All right, Brandi, thank you so much. Let's get another check on your weather with Aaron.